Caitlyn Jenner's sons, Brandon and Brody, have been stalwarts of reality TV for over a decade. Between breakups, baby announcements, and The Hill's new beginnings, these two found themselves dominating headlines again in 2019. Let's take a look at some of the sketchy things everyone ignores about the Jenner brothers. Despite being part of the Kardashian-Jenner crew, Brody Jenner isn't necessarily a big fan of America's first family. According to Page 6, in April 2016, some of Brody's friends were overheard at Coachella congratulating the reality star on his family's recent successes, referring to the Kardashian side of his clan. He allegedly replied, "They're not my f***ing family." Regardless of whether Brody actually publicly slated the Kardashians, apparently he was annoyed that his would-be +1, then new girlfriend Caitlyn Carter, didn't get an invite to Kim Kardashian and Kanye West's wedding in Florence, Italy in May 2014.
People are calling every day trying to get their +1s invited, and the venue does not have the space.
Brody threw shade at his relatives about the lack of a +1 when he allegedly wrote in a since-deleted Instagram post, "Caitlyn Carter and I finally get to go to a wedding together." Kardashian herself appeared to respond to Brody's comments during an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, saying, "I don't know why Brody is still talking about this. We were very strict about our wedding. Everyone else respected that. It's not a big deal. We love our stepbrothers. It just seems like they are always talking about this divide."
And he asked to bring, his girlfriends, and I said no.
Obviously, that's not going to happen.
Can't the Kar-Jenners just get along? The news that Brody had separated from wife Caitlyn Carter broke in August 2019, just over a year after the couple got married in a destination wedding at an exclusive resort off the coast of Indonesia in June 2018. Around a week after their split announcement, Carter was famously photographed kissing Miley Cyrus on vacation, shortly after the singer's own separation from her husband of just 8 months, Liam Hemsworth. With snapshots of the two women spreading online, Brody decided to joke about the unexpected turn of events on Instagram. He captioned a photo of himself standing alone by the sea, "Don't let yesterday take up too much of today." His Hill's New Beginnings co-star Brandon Thompson-Lee commented on the post, "Let's round this scandal out and post a pic of us making out." Brody quipped in response, "Watch out, pics of Liam and I holding hands on the beach coming soon." Cyrus seemed less than impressed by the comment and shot back with, "Go take a nap in your truck and cool off." Basically, the singer wasn't here for any jokes at her expense, especially when Jenner brought Hemsworth into the mix. Brandon Jenner and ex-wife Leah Felder had been together for 14 years by the time they announced their breakup in September 2018 and were in a music duo together called Brandon and Leah. Just weeks after they were officially divorced in mid-July 2019, this Jenner bro shared that new girlfriend, Kaylee Stoker, was 3 months pregnant. With twins. You do the math. Brandon told People, "We are at 12 weeks now, so near to the end of the first trimester. We're madly in love and we are very excited about this." Brandon already shares a daughter with his ex-wife and told People, "Leah, Kaylee and I sat down with her and told her what was happening, and she was very excited and happy. She's super excited to be a big sister. We love a happy blended family." Despite making headlines over their beautiful destination wedding in June 2018, it turns out that Brody Jenner and Caitlyn Carter were never officially married.
We've been together for a long time, so getting married was just the icing on the cake.
According to a Page 6 source, the union wasn't legal. It seems that these exes have avoided any potentially messy divorce paperwork. Remember the fuss Brody made over his lack of a +1 invite to Kim Kardashian's wedding? Well, the Hill star was also unhappy about most of the Kardashian-Jenners skipping his own nuptials. He told People, "My two little sisters, we never even heard from them. They never even RSVP'd, I don't think. We sent them an invite, but we just never heard anything back. I would have loved to have had them there." Meanwhile, Caitlyn Jenner also missed the wedding due to work commitments. But since Brody's marriage was never actually legal, perhaps it wasn't such a big deal after all. Just as Brody Jenner allegedly dissed his family connections, older Jenner brother Brandon isn't a fan of his famous last name.
I feel like everything was given to me and that there's not a lot of things that I've earned in my life.
In an interview with Channel Q Radio's Let's Go There with Shira and Ryan in June 2019, Brandon revealed, When people hear it for the first time or they hear my last name, Jenner, I think that they're quicker to write me off and not necessarily even want to give my music a chance because of it. Basically, Brandon thinks that his super famous family connections may have hindered his musical success. As he revealed, just the rise of Keeping Up with the Kardashians has changed the idea of what the last name Jenner, what kind of person I'm going to be. Brody Jenner dropped a major bombshell regarding his relationships on the Hills while speaking with Yahoo Lifestyle in 2015. Fans might have loved the chemistry between himself and Lauren Conrad, but their entire romantic tryst was apparently fake. He explained, "I would say that the hardest part of it was having to live that fake reality, the not being able to say, I didn't screw every girl on the show." The reality TV star also opened up about his so-called fairy tale connection with Conrad and said, "Lauren is a dear friend of mine, and it was pretty funny having to live that reality. We would literally film a scene of us kissing or being in this lovey-dovey scene, and right after it would be like, cut! And right after it be like, hey, it's good to see you, and then we'd go our separate ways. Reality TV just breaks our hearts again and again." During Brody Jenner's On Air with Ryan Seacrest interview in 2015, then-girlfriend Caitlyn Carter participated in a phone-in and appeared to make some pretty major revelations about the reality star's love life. When Seacrest asked whether it bothered her to hear about Brody's previous romantic escapades, Carter replied,
"I knew what I was getting myself into when we first started dating, so that was sort of something I had to accept from the beginning."
Seacrest proceeded to ask Carter how many girls the Hills star had actually slept with. Carter revealed, "It's more than 100. It's unclear whether or not this was a joke. For his part, Jenner was visibly embarrassed with his own girlfriend suggesting such a high number, but also said that they were very honest with one another. While the number isn't in itself a problem, the fact that he's lost count seems a little shady. Caitlyn Jenner's gender transition journey was well documented on TV shows Keeping Up with the Kardashians and I Am Kate, both of which show how the former Olympian's children reacted to her coming out as transgender. However, fans in the Twitter sphere were less than happy when Brody Jenner misgendered Caitlyn while jokingly wondering whether her name was inspired by his then-wife Caitlyn Carter's moniker. During the series premiere of The Hills: New Beginnings in June 2019, Brody said, "My dad, he also became a woman. Don't want to forget about that one. I had been dating Caitlyn Carter for 4.5 years, and my dad came out and said that he wanted to be called Caitlyn."
Two Caitlyns.
Caitlyn's preferred pronouns are she and her, so Brody's incorrect use of pronouns made the reality star seem a bit tone-deaf. However, Brandon jumped to his younger brother's defense amid the ensuing backlash on Channel Q Radio's Let's Go There with Shira and Ryan and said, "Accidents happen and people slip up and you shouldn't shame them for it. There's not an ill intention."
Bruce was harboring some secrets and some things that none of us knew about.
Brandon also explained that errors should be teachable moments, admitting, "I do that even with my family. When my brothers and sisters slip up here and there, I do encourage them to use the pronoun that my dad would prefer." The musician went on to point out that Caitlyn has told her children that they can still call her dad.
You gotta have a sense of humor about it. I'll say Bruce, I say Caitlyn, I say Dad. We mess up all the time.
Not all relationships last forever, but the tattoos some people get during said relationships often do. And while covering up or removing a regrettable tat is sometimes an option, Brody Jenner is apparently pretty comfortable with keeping his. During his 2-year romance with Avril Lavigne, the reality TV star ended up getting several matching tattoos with the Canadian songstress, including having her name etched into his forearm. Despite breaking up in 2012, Jenner's ink was photographed as recently as June 2019, meaning that this particular tattoo probably even outlasted his marriage to Caitlyn Carter. According to the Daily Telegraph, Lavigne reportedly also got Brody's name tattooed on her body, while both celebs had matching lightning bolts inked on them. Brody Jenner is obviously pretty comfortable with the tattoos he got with his former flame. By all accounts, Brody Jenner's split from Caitlyn Carter appeared to be amicable. A statement released to Page 6 announcing their breakup said, "They love and respect one another and know that this is the best decision for their relationship moving forward." However, everyone is aware of just how quickly Carter moved on with Miley Cyrus, with photos of the pair kissing surfacing shortly after the Jenner-Carter breakup was announced. So when Jenner went public with his new girlfriend, Josie Canseco, so soon after his ex's fling was revealed, was the reality star trying to send a message? A source told In Touch Weekly in August 2019, "If you didn't know better, you'd think Brody and Josie were dating for some time now." The publication also noted that Canseco had left a flirty message on one of Jenner's Instagram posts on August 11th, just 9 days after the announcement of Brody's split from Carter. Could it be that Jenner wanted the world to know that he'd moved on too? Jenner and Canseco sadly ended their romance in October 2019, with an insider telling E! News, Brody basically broke it off with her because it was getting too serious and he didn't want the pressure of a new relationship. While the exact timeline appears to be a little fuzzy, it's certainly convenient that Jenner coupled up at almost the same time as Carter and Cyrus did. Was it really just a coincidence? Viewers of The Hills: New Beginnings will be well aware of the ups and downs that Brody Jenner and Caitlyn Carter experienced throughout their time on the show. And it seems that Jenner is perfectly happy for his breakup to be broadcast on television too. Speaking to Entertainment Tonight in October 2019, Jenner said of his separation from Carter, "I'm sure you're going to see a lot of that on the show." He also suggested that he's focused on ensuring everyone watches the reboot of the reality show that made him famous, as he teased, "Of course you have to stay tuned to see what goes on with that, but you'll definitely see some of that." Jenner also told Entertainment Tonight, "The Hills was one of those things where it's tough to put yourself out there like that, but ultimately it can be very therapeutic as well. Whether or not it's really cathartic to watch your marriage fall apart on television is anyone's guess, but there are some who think Jenner's attitude towards his ex is even more callous than he's willing to reveal. For instance, just a few months after their split, a source told In Touch Weekly in November 2019, Brody doesn't care about Caitlyn anymore. It appears that failed marriage is about to become reality TV fodder. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more Nicki Swift videos about reality TV are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.